Betsy and Thomas here for the American Intelligence Media. Look, we got a hot thing we wanted to share with you, and it's about USAID and the executive what are they calling it?
It's fine-tuning, a businessman's fine-tuning of the federal agencies. Started in March with an executive order ordering them to say, basically get it together. Since then, there have been, since he's come to power, there's been about 40,000 people who no longer have federal jobs, and nobody missed any of them. So he knows that it can be trimmed down. And so, for instance, like putting Mulvaney in charge of the consumer business group, he's killing it. He took the 25 heads of it, the directors of it, who are all SES members, and all they were doing is just targeting companies and attacking them basically as an independent group under the auspices of the U.S. government, and then stealing money from them in lawsuits that were all rigged to begin with, killing it. We told you he was going to kill it. Now, what is happening with the budget? That's the reason they're not going to recess, because it's going back, and the Senate is going to have to go over things item by item. They tried to pass an omnibus budget. Trump loved that. He got 2 years of NDAA, so he got control of the military, control of propaganda, control of basically what is in effect martial law going on in this country, and he added to that by declaring a national emergency against all crimes. But he also in March said, we're redoing the entire government. Every one of you, tell me how you're cutting. Get rid of redundancy. Get rid of people. Show me how to cut it. I can't cut entire agencies, but I can sure cut sections. And they are trimming like crazy, billions and tens of billions of dollars already. I forget what it was, $35 billion in cuts in the omnibus budget, and it was inflated. It was a horrible budget. He allowed it to happen because it was a trick of Mitch McConnell, the evil Chinese transportation warlord.
Oh, you mean China Chow?
China Chow, and all the ships that they're selling to China through their family, and they're proud to show that the collusion is going on. Mitch, hit the road. Get on one of those boats and go to China, your true home. But anyway, Mitch has to have no recess to consider budgetary issues, because why? What we told you would happen. That in an omnibus budget, Trump was laughing all the way to the bank because he got exactly what he wanted on the top end for the military and some things he wanted, but it looked like he lost on the fence, on the border. Wrong. We told you how he had actually redone huge lengths of the border, and other lengths of it don't even need to be done unless you can swim the Rio Grande and not get caught at night, which is very hard to do. So anyway, what he's doing here is he's sending back recensions, and he says, okay, here's a whole bunch of recensions. I don't want any of these in the budget. And then what did McConnell say? Oh, darn it, now we have to go item by item so that I can get my pork fat, so that I can get my part of the budget for my constituency in that budget through some dirty dealing, under table, last minute deals, which is what always happens with the budgets. So Trump has them by the tail. He's got the tiger by the tail. He's spinning them around. They got to spend some time doing some work, and he's got him by the tail with the budget, but what he really has them by the tail with is they're going to confirm some of his appointees for judgeships for courts and for all kinds of positions. 400 of them are waiting for over a year, and he wants all 400 of them immediately run through and certified and get into their jobs. So is that going to happen? Some of it will happen. If he gets certain judges into Washington, D.C. at the federal court level, then he can start to win some of these cases. Until then, they're going to go to judges who are slanted, like Judge Chutkan, who is doing the Imran Awan hugest espionage scandal in history. She's ignoring the whole thing.
Wait a minute. You're talking so fast, I can't even understand what you're saying.
Oh, really?
Yes. So let's go back to Judge Chutkan again.
Judge Chutkan.
And for all of those of you that are going to scold me in the comment box, that's the only way I can slow down Thomas sometimes. Just say stop. Say that again. And we have plenty of time, and we have plenty of recording tape.
But my cookie's waiting for me, and the cheesecake, and they made a cappuccino. It's getting cold. Anyway, so it's a great thing that is going on here with the budget, because now Trump is in control again. But if he doesn't have judges in these key positions, and that's what he needs, is the appointees that he's suggested need to be certified, need to go through their verification process through Congress and through the Senate. And so that's what he really wants done. It's confirmation. The confirmation hearings for 400 people, actually it's many more than 400, but 400 key positions that literally the government cannot go forward with his plan without them there. And that's why the obstructionists, both Republicans and Democrats, who basically are controlled by senior executive service members, are telling them to slow walk this stuff, just like they're slow walking Michael Horowitz's Inspector General investigation of the DOJ and FBI.
I want to talk about USAID and why this is. I want you to tell people what this is, because some people just tuned in, and I want you to tell me the relationship to that and OPIC and why these cutbacks are important for our overall strategy of getting America pulled in and getting these globalist forces out of us.
The largest budget line is entitlement, and that's $1 trillion line, and it's usually controlled by health and human services. But the food program, both for schools and for food stamps, are controlled by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. He wants to separate them and make things go into the right department. But as he's doing that, he's going to shuffle things around, and he's going to say, and he did say, there's going to be large changes to USAID. It was hidden it was kind of hidden. No one even noticed this. No one's talking about it.
It was a huge slush fund for these globalists.
It is a pay for play for who's ever Secretary of State. That fund ranges anywhere from $40 billion to $80 billion a year, depending on how you want to cut that pie, and it's all controlled by the Secretary of State, not even the President. Okay, I want to repeat that. A slush fund, let's just round out, $60 billion a year, all controlled by the Secretary of State. Who gets the weapons? Who gets the money? Who gets the U.S. aid for international development? Secretary of State determines that. That was Hillary Clinton. She gave money to get money donated to the Clinton Foundation, folks. She gave weapons and got donations to the Clinton Foundation. $2 billion has gone to that Clinton Foundation through her manipulation of pay to play. When you're Secretary of State, John Kerry, how much did you get from the Iran Gate $5.7 billion we just went over? He got a nice chunk into an offshore account under his son's name, guaranteed. Christopher Hines. Look in Karachi. He'll be in the same building as George Soros. It's not hard to figure these things out, okay? So why don't they stop tax evasion? Because the Department of Justice is crooked. That's why Trump attacked them in the tweets yesterday. Because it's fake justice. There's no justice there. So USAID would give money to supposedly countries that needed it. Lie. It gave it to whoever the Secretary of State wanted to manipulate. So he's going to change that principally. He's going to seriously change it. He needs to simply end it. We have been harping on this for the last month and a half, and so we are standing up and cheering the Conclave, Americans for Innovation, Leader Technology, and Michael McKibben and his researchers. We have a victory, y'all. USAID is hopefully going to go in the trash can where it belongs.
If you want to read more about that, I have the link right in the description box. And what Thomas is saying is just so remarkable when you read the research we found. Thank you.